I was recently a guest on the Peaceable and Kind podcast with Pastor Derek Vreeland. If you missed it, I'll put a link in the video description so you can go and listen to our conversation. But we had a great time chatting about the Bible and talking about Bible translations and my book, Bible Translations for Everyone. And Derek and I talked a little bit about what I said in the book and what I've said here on my YouTube channel about a Bible translation / paraphrase called The Message. Now, if you're one of those people who says the message is a paraphrase or the message is a translation, I encourage you to check out my video where I explore what the definition of a translation is, what the definition of a paraphrase is, and where the message sits in there. So he and I talked about that a little bit, and he mentioned that he actually publishes books with Nav Press, the same publisher that publishes The Message, and he asked me which copy of The Message I had, and I told him, I said, actually, I've never owned a copy of The Message. I do not own a copy of The Message. So Derek sent me a gift. This is his favorite copy of The Message. It's called the Message Devotional Bible. So it's the full Bible in the Message translation from Eugene Peterson, but it is filled with extra insights, book introductions, devotionals, questions, articles, all written by Eugene Peterson. And Derek told me this is his favorite edition because you get the text of the message, but you also get all of this extra content from Eugene Peterson, who was so thoughtful and wise. And so I've actually had this for a few weeks now. I've spent a little bit of time with it. It's my first copy of the message, and I can totally see why Derek likes this because it is a great resource. As I share in my book, spoiler alert for the book and the video, what I say about the message is I don't recommend it as your primary translation of the Bible. I think when you're looking at the translation spectrum, it's all the way over here on the right side, very near a paraphrase. It ticks the box of translation as well as paraphrase. And so for that reason, I don't recommend it as your everyday translation of the Bible, your only Bible, but I do think it's a great secondary resource. I think the way Eugene Peterson words things helps you kind of think about the passage of Scripture from a different angle. And that was really, I think, what his goal was to do with this project. So for example, I've been looking at a passage, a very famous passage in the Bible, Micah 6:8, which is a really cool passage where the prophet Micah is kind of putting the people of God on trial, and they're having this conversation, and it leads, 6:1 through 8 is the whole passage, and in verse 8, it's Micah 6:8, has become like one of the most famous passages in the Old Testament. Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with God. But look at the way Eugene Peterson phrases this, but he's already made it plain how to live, what to do, what God is looking for in men and women. It's quite simple. Do what is fair and just to your neighbor. Be compassionate and loyal in your love. And don't take yourself too seriously. Take God seriously. I think that does kind of move into the realm of paraphrase. There's a lot more going on there, but it's really interesting. Don't take yourself too seriously. Take God seriously. That's a great reminder as you're reading this. And even in this Bible, right above this, there's a little devotional, thoughtful thing about that entire passage of Scripture that, again, it just kind of reframes the text for you. So you're getting this unique translation. You're also getting a lot of additional insights and book introductions, like I said. Now, I do want to go to one more place and read a passage for you. I love the way the message translates Romans 12:1 and 2. Let me read this for you, first of all, in the NIV, just the classic kind of middle-of-the-road translation of Romans 12:1 and 2. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Such a great couple of verses there as Paul's kind of like rounding the corner towards home in his letter to the church at Rome. But I want to read to you the way that Eugene Peterson phrases this in the message. I love it in the NIV, I love it in the ESV and many other translations, but listen to the way he phrases it. So here's what I want you to do, God helping you. Take your everyday ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing you can do for Him. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without even thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. readily recognize what he wants from you and quickly respond to it. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, God brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you. I love that. Again, paraphrase-ish, changing things a little bit. Eugene Peterson set out with this project, The Message, because he was reading the Bible and studying it with his church, and he wanted to put it in the vernacular of his people. And I think just the small shifts in the way that it says things like, don't become so well adjusted to your culture, whereas in the NIV it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, right? That's some flowery language in there in the more literal translation, which is funny to say about the NIV, but compared to the Message, it is conforming to the pattern of this world. And it says, don't become so well adjusted to the culture that you fit in without thinking. Just a slight shift. I think it's getting us towards the same meaning, but it's helping to explain that and to think about it in a different way. Again, not something that I'm going to use as my main translation of the Bible, but definitely something that I think is a good resource. And I'm really glad to have a physical copy of it, because even though I can hop online and check to see what the Message says, I also like to have good physical copies, and I'm glad that Derek recommended this. This is the standard edition, the Message Devotional Bible. It's like 5.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches tall. It's got an 8-point typeface, so that might be small for some of you, but there's also a large print edition that comes with a 10-point typeface. So if you want something slightly larger, you can get that. And again, it's going to have all of those different extra elements and resources in it. It's got devotionals, book introductions, articles, thoughtful questions as you're going through it. So it really reads more like a devotional Bible. I think it's really nice. And I'm glad that Derek recommended it, because I've never had a physical copy of the Message before, so it's nice to have one like this. This is the synthetic leather version. There's also a hardcover edition. So I'll put some links in the video description if you want to check out the physical copy of these and you want to get that extra content from Eugene Peterson. Otherwise, you can also find the Message online. You can read it for free. You can find it in the YouVersion Bible app, that sort of thing. So there's lots of great ways to reference the Message. But again, I would encourage you to check out the video that I made about the Message. I will put a link to that in the video description, to listen to that conversation that I had with Derek, and definitely to check out my book, Bible Translations for Everyone. The goal with the book was my goal here on the channel, right, is to help you find a Bible that's right for you and apply it to your life. And the goal with the book was to help you narrow down which translation or translations are right for you. And I definitely think that the Message can be a great resource for some of you out there. So I would love to hear from you. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Definitely, if you have any questions, you can drop those in there as well. Head down to the video description for all of those links that I talked about. Thank you so much to Derek and the folks at Nav Press for sending this to me so that I could share it with you. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button for me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Definitely surf around and find some other videos here on my channel and enjoy this fun Bible-related content that we have here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.